for the day with her introductory remarks, please.
Dr. K.P. Krishnan, Mr. Sunil Munjal, Jayant Krishna, Anil Kumar Pokhriyal, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you at the Management and Entrepreneurship Summit, the first one that we have held ever. Dr. Krishnan, it's a privilege to have you with us, and many thanks for agreeing to address the summit. You've made an outstanding contribution to all departments and organizations that you have led, both at the center and in Karnataka. You have brought special verve and vigor to the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and to the Skill India program. Thank you for joining us this morning. Mr. Munjal, it is a pleasure to have you with us. You're passionate about skills and entrepreneurship, and you bring remarkable dynamism to this initiative. It's a privilege to have you as the chairman of MEPSC. Thank you so much for joining us today. Mr. Jayant Krishna, you have been a great mentor to MEPSC, and your guidance is extremely important for the Council. It is a substantial challenge to create an ecosystem for providing management and entrepreneurship skills, but we are confident that with NSDC as a partner, MEPSC will fulfill its mandate with ease. Friends, we take this opportunity to honor an outstanding teacher and thinker today who has raised the bar for management education in the country. Today, we shall present the AIMA Keval Noria Award for Academic Leadership and Management Education to a very special individual. The award presentation will take place later in the session. During the course of the summit, we will discuss many aspects of Skilling India. The Skill India program is still work in progress, and we need to learn from the experience so far and think ahead with greater clarity. It is a paradox that the country has millions of young people looking for work, while the organizations are complaining of not finding the people they can hire. Clearly, there is a gap between the skills people have and the skills that the economy needs. Simultaneously, the economy's need for low-skilled people is decreasing because of increasing automation. Moreover, the risk of skill obsolescence is becoming greater than ever. The workers may not be able to compete with machines on cost for long, but they need to bring management skills to the table to maintain the superiority over machines. In fact, even now, mere training in tasks does not get workers a premium in the market. The employers prefer workers who bring polish and soft skills to the roles and thereby add more value to the business. This is where MEPSC comes in. Its mandate is to train the youth and the existing employees in business skills that make them more valuable and autonomous. The Skill Council aims to deliver well-structured, high-quality training in management and entrepreneurship skills that will help workers get a premium in the market or help them to start business. This summit provides an opportunity for all the stakeholders to share their perspectives and explore new approaches to skill development and entrepreneurship. We have many outstanding speakers, and we are looking forward to an exciting engagement between the audience and the experts. I'm sure you'll enjoy the summit. It is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Jayant Krishna, Director MEPSC and Executive Director and COO NSDC, to deliver the theme address. Thank you.
Thank you, Rekha, Dr. K.P. Krishnan, Mr. Munjal, Colonel Tapiyal, my dear friends. It's a great privilege to be here this morning, and my task is very clearly defined to talk about what has happened in the skills landscape in the last few years and what's the road ahead. My dear friends, as you know, India ranks very, very favorably now when it comes to GDP of the country. We are the 8th largest GDP contributor among all countries in the world. It's a matter to be very, very happy about. It's a matter of great pride. But this pride and happiness becomes short-lived because on one hand, we are the 8th largest GDP country in the among all countries in the world. If you look at the list and look at the countries beyond 144, most of the people sitting here would not even know where those countries exist on the global roadmap. So it's a double-edged thing. Some indicators look very promising, some indicators put us to shame. But very clearly, one reason for very adverse per capita income is also that we have not taken our skills journey very seriously. A lot needs to be done here. Sometimes you wonder as if India is not one country, but they're two imaginary countries coexisting. Where one India is so well developed, so intellectually evolved, so wealthy that it rubs shoulders with the best in the world. And the other India, where still there are challenges as to where the next wheel is going to come from. The entire seriousness, to my mind, for skills started in the country with the initiative which the late C.K. Prahlad started, a mission called India at 75. So what C.K. did, he tried to evangelize as to what kind of country we would like to see when independent India becomes 75-year-old in the year 2022. And among other things, he said that we would need some 500 million skilled people, including upskilling numbers. If you really ask me, did C.K. Prahlad do any detailed skill gap study? Perhaps no. He looked at the macro level indicators, economic indicators, and the economy of the country at that point of time was growing at 8.5%, unadjusted way of computing the GDP. And then he looked at those indicators and then projected that we need almost 500 million skilled people. That the current government also improved the focus by establishing a separate Ministry for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and also rationalized that target from 500 million to 400 million as a part of the Government of India's policy for skills in the year 2015. So it's an idea whose time has come, or should I say that an idea which has been neglected for far too long, and it's time that we treat it very, very seriously. This entire story of demographic dividend that we keep hearing all the time, we all know it's a double-edged sword. If you do it well, if you skill people well, if you create livelihood options, well, the demographic dividend is there for all of us to leverage. But if you don't do it, it's also a time bomb, and it's also, it may turn out to be a demographic disaster as well. So it's a huge challenge, and also we have to put our act together very, very fast. Because this demographic dividend is not going to be endless window of opportunity for the country. If you don't leverage it in the next 10 years' time, 15 years' time, then perhaps you would have missed the bus for all times to come. We have huge amount of positives. We have the world's youngest workforce. The median age of our workers is just about 27, 28-year-old. It brings huge amount of value to the economy. Two reasons. One is young workforce remains economically productive for the nation for a much longer period of time to come. And second is that the cost of a young workforce to the companies and to the economy is less, which makes your business domestically as well as globally competitive. So it's a huge advantage that we have. Our current workforce is estimated to be of a size of 49 crore to 51 crore people. Estimates vary, but AIMA is just about 4% of this workforce is formally skilled. Rest of the people joined the workforce completely raw, completely unskilled, and they did pick up some skills as they moved up the value chain. But it's a slow process because the compensation gets adversely affected, the productivity gets a beating. So I think it's a huge challenge. And if you look at the 4% figure that we have, a lot of people say don't compare with Germany, Switzerland, and these kind of countries, but compare with China. China has it has a workforce much bigger than us, and almost 50% of the people in their workforce are formally skilled in a lab and classroom environment. South Korea has 96%, Japan has 98%. So huge amount of challenges exist. A lot of people do not join the skills bus because they feel it's the end of the road. There are no opportunities. An ITI student or a polytechnic student or an NSDC partner student cannot do anything else in life, and there are no more opportunities. So I think skills are not aspirational. We all know compensation still in a country where almost 93% of the workforce actually works in informal and unorganized sector. Many of these jobs are not aspirational. Some players in this space don't even subscribe to the minimum wages prescribed by the states, and that aggravates the problem quite a lot. We also have a capacity imbalance. Till recently, there was a situation where the country was churning out more engineers than ITI certificate holders. That connection is happening, but we went the wrong way, a bit too much. Where are the teachers? When in a country where IITs and IIMs struggle at any point of time, there is 20% shortage of teachers with their financial strength. You can understand what will be the situation in the skills space, which is itself not considered to be very aspirational. It's a huge challenge the country has to address. Assessment story, while some work has happened there, but still there are a lot of imperfections which we need to address at a breathtaking speed. Where are the jobs? There's a question which keeps getting asked very every now and then. In 2009-10 kind of time frame, where a lot of jobs were getting added. Today also jobs are getting added, but the number has reduced. The rate of velocity of creation of new jobs has come down. And again, as I said, most of these jobs are in unorganized and informal sector, which are not aspirational for the country. So these are the issues, but some positive developments have happened. The Government of India has come up with this National Skills Qualification Framework, which addresses this issue that, what after ITI? Is it end of the road? So it gives you vertical mobility options within the skill space, and theoretically, even a barber or a plumber, if he wants to, or she wants to do a PhD, that pathway should be available to the person. There are 10 steps for vertical mobility within the skill space, and once this framework gets operationalized fully well, there will also be a horizontal mobility between the mainstream education and the skill space. So I think it's a huge and daunting task that while the framework is a reality today, how do we fast track its rollout and completely operationalize the National Skills Qualification Framework? NSDC itself, it was the first of its kind, a public-private partnership, and right from the day one, it was known it will leverage government funds and delivery of, but you will need a private sector enterprise, which will bring a better velocity of decision making, greater operational flexibility, lesser leakages perhaps, and also, a different degree of professionalism in the organization. It was a very different thing, and then the sector skill councils came into being. This management and entrepreneurship and professional services being one. Industry used to blame the government as if through a prism of timelessness, that whatever you teach under the ITI system or polytechnic system, it's obsolete, outdated. So government at that point of time said that let industry take the ownership, like it happens in some other countries, for example, Japanese chambers, German chambers, and so on and so forth. And finally, these sector skill councils, most of them organized on the lines of industry verticals, came into being, and then they started looking at the entire occupation map for the key job roles which had a critical mass either for wage employment or for self-employment opportunities. Then they created the national occupation standards for each of the job roles, and that became the basis for all vocational training in the country. In the apprenticeship space, a lot of reforms have happened, and I'm happy to share with you that almost the wish list which the government, which the industry had, was granted by the government, and it's a very, very industry-friendly act today. But it's up to the industry to embrace it and have more and more apprentices on board. Today, the boundaries of the act are open not only for manufacturing industry, but also for the service sector. Service sector today has become a larger employer in the country than the manufacturing. But there are very, very few apprentices on board in the service sector. Dr. Krishnan himself is spearheading, a drive for apprenticeship system to succeed, at least on a pilot basis, in the BFSI sector. So I think a lot more needs to happen in the IT enabled space, which has almost 40 lakh people it employs, but there are hardly any apprentices. But the fact is, industry trains. So how do we put that story together? It's a challenge. How do we leverage technology big time? Today is a time which has to herald the depth of the distance. You have almost 2 lakh panchayats all over the country. In a few months' time, you have the rural broadband availability there. How do you leverage these thick pipes to stream, to deliver the skills training, with less dependence on teachers? I think that's a challenge. How do we create more content, which is for online delivery? These are huge challenges. Sector skill councils, as I told you, came into being, and it was not that there's no scope for improvement there, but very clearly it was a departure from the usual way of thinking that government is best equipped to tell you that what should be taught in the vocational training outfits. So I think these things are happening. State skill missions came into being because much of the implementation happens in the state government. And most of the states, at least the bigger ones today, have a state skill development mission or a corporation which is supposed to be some kind of an aggregator and aligner of various skilling interventions at the state level. Some are doing well, some need to improve and pull up their socks, but hugely. I mean, if you look at the new, till about 10 years back, ITI and polytechnics were the only model for delivery of skills training in the country. Today you have community colleges, you have BWOC colleges, you have NSDC partners courses, you have a whole lot of new generation programs which are there. And they are getting integrated, and aligned with the National Skills Qualification Framework. We've also done some skill gap studies, so that that in most of the verticals, at least the 25 key sectors of the economy, what are the skill gaps for the country as a whole, and also at a district level, what are the verticals where you have skill gaps, and that area is being addressed. A lot of advocacy is being done, as you know, some of you would have seen Sachin Tendulkar has been lined up as a brand ambassador for Skill India, and which is infinitely the largest human resource development exercise ever attempted by any country in the history of mankind. Such is the enormity of the task, but it's a huge challenge, and we need to live up to it. Would the traditional skills be good enough, or do we need to look at new generation skills? We all hear about this industry 4.0 knocking us. We all know how robotics, how artificial intelligence, expert systems, 3D printing, we are going to very clearly create a huge disruption in the form the manufacturing happens in our country. Vehicles, if you look at auto, which is the largest component of our manufacturing sector, we are moving towards technology where greenhouse gas production is the sole objective. Electricity-driven vehicles have become a reality. CNG, you've seen in Delhi and elsewhere in the country how it has become successful. How do we depend more on biofuels than fossil fuels? I mean, these are constant challenges that we have to address. Look at housing. A lot of focus on green housing technologies is going to be there. Look at the healthcare. Low-cost healthcare interventions are very important. Medical tourism on the other end of the spectrum, wellness. These things need to be mapped properly in the skills that we develop. Power sector, the focus is changing from conventional to non-conventional. Both solar, wind, and other sources of non-conventional energy are becoming important. If you look at a lot of things, machine learning, adaptive algorithms, these have become a reality. Internet of Things is knocking our doors. It's around the corner. So how do we? The challenge that we have is that how do we factor these technologies, newer developments into what we do? Look at IT itself. Almost 30% of the IT-enabled services and IT services, these revenues today come from digital technologies which did not exist 6-7 years ago. Everything is going the cloud way. Mobility computing has become a reality. Big data analytics is a huge challenge. Social media is there for everybody, each one of us to see all around us. How do we embrace these new technologies? I think challenge is also for the skills ecosystem that we have courses which are very, very meaningful, but it's not an easy journey at all. Clearly it's such a huge task. The more we do, the more seems to remain to be done. And I exhort all of you that each one of you sitting here can actually become a skills ambassador and walk the talk. Because unless we do that, and unless we change our mindset, which imparts stepmotherly treatment to the skilled workers, I think their lot will never improve. We would never evangelize the sector, and they would never board the skills bus in the country, and skills will never become aspirational. So clearly, it's a huge task, and the more we do, as I said, the more seems to remain to be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Krishna, for setting the context for the summit. Ladies and gentlemen, on this special day of Skills Summit, we are pleased to announce AIMA Table Border Award for Academic Leadership in Management Education 2016. May I request Ms. Rekha Sethi to please read the citation and introduce the winner.
A distinguished educator and an outstanding administrator, he is renowned for his visionary leadership of the Indian Institute of Management in Ahmedabad. He served the premier institute as professor, dean and director during his 33-year stint. Under his leadership, IIM grew in stature and became a self-sufficient and globally acclaimed institution. Subsequently, he was director of the Adani Institute of Infrastructure Management and Gujarat Adani Institute of Medical Sciences. He has also served as the Director General of International Management Institute, Delhi. A PhD in economics and an accomplished teacher, he has been teaching for 47 years. At AIMA, he offered several courses in the MBA program and guided more than 20 PhD students. His many famous students include the previous RBI Governor, Raghuram Rajan, celebrated banker Nachiket Moore, and sports broadcaster Harsha Bhogle. He received the Best Professor Award at the Institute. A highly regarded economist and management expert, he has been invited to the boards of many high-profile organizations. He has been a member of the Reserve Bank of India's Western Area Local Board and a director on the boards of many large companies including ONGC, Shipping Corporation, GSPL, Arvind, L&T Power and RNRL. He has also served the Rangarajan Committee on Pricing and Taxation of Petroleum Products and the Expert Group on Pension Fund constituted by the Government of India. He is a member of the Eminent Persons Advisory Group of the Competition Commission of India. He is a recipient of the Padma Shri, which was awarded to him in 2007 for his contribution in the field of literature and education. He has also received the coveted Bharat Asmita Award in 2008. He has been feted by the World Gujarati Conference and the Global Associations of Business Schools. A prolific author, he has written 12 books, 25 monographs and more than 50 research papers. The All India Management Association is pleased to present the AIMA Academic Leadership Award to Dr. Pakul H. Dholakia for his outstanding contribution to management education. Dr. Dholakia.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Dr. Pakul H. Dholakia.
Sunil, Munjal, distinguished members on the dais, and distinguished delegates of this skill summit, ladies and gentlemen. With all humility, I accept this award that has been given to me, and I am grateful to All India Management Association for this honor that has been bestowed on me. Leadership in educational institutions has emerged as a major challenge for a country like ours, which aspires to create large number of centers of excellence in this country. So many new IIMs and IITs are being set up. While the physical infrastructure and funding are less of a problem, the real challenge lies in identifying suitable leaders to head these organizations. And I think the leadership challenge which corporations have always faced, the education institutions are also facing. And we need, therefore, to provide all the support and encouragement when we spot talent in terms of administration. Now, academic administration doesn't come naturally to everybody. If you are a distinguished academic, it does not necessarily mean that you would be a distinguished administrator. And I think the time has come to nurture and develop people who have the potential to be distinguished academic and also who can become distinguished academic administrators. Academic fraternity always hates to have a non-academic as a leader. And wherever these experiments have been made, 95% of them have been unsuccessful. And the remaining 5% is a matter of chance. So therefore, it is very important that the academic fraternity focuses on administration as an important skill that they need to develop. The vision and strategy, and particularly in the initial stages of setting up an institution and institution building, it is the passion and the commitment of the leaders of the organization that decides the destiny of the institutions. And I'm very happy that AIMA has thought in terms of having an award like this, and I'm sure that in the years to come, a lot of excellent administration leaders in the field of education will be receiving these awards at AIMA. I wish all of you all the very best, and once again, thanks AIMA for giving this award. Thank you.
We now invite Mr. Munjal, Chairman MEPSC, President AIMA, and Chairman Hero Corporate Services to deliver the keynote address.
Dr. Krishnan, Jayant, who's just left, Rekha, Anil. So I'd like to compliment Anil and Rekha and MEPSC for setting up this event. We have lots of conferences focused on quality, technology, manufacturing, even service excellence, but rarely focus on a subject as critical as the one we're addressing today. We just heard from Jayant the need for us to focus on skills. I'm not sure there is a need for us to discuss the very need for this. It's actually blindingly clear. If you look at where we are as a nation today, the two biggest challenges we face, one, 200 plus million people living in abject poverty, and two, our real test is to see whether we have the ability to create economic opportunities, productive and sustainable economic opportunities and jobs for the millions of young people who reach the age that they're ready to work. The number being bandied about right now is 1 million new jobs required in India month on month, every month for the next 15 months. Is that correct, Dr. Krishna? We're talking about 1 million new jobs. I think the number is actually much larger that way. Because what is going to happen, in some sense already has started. Indian industry wants to stand up and be counted. It wants to be globally competitive. To be globally competitive, we will have to be more productive and more efficient. So what does that mean? We will use more robotics, more automation, more computerization, more intelligent systems, more big data, which means in the current space, manufacturing industries as it gets more efficient will lose some jobs. Agriculture as it gets more productive, as it needs to, will lose jobs. Services as it uses more automation will also lose jobs. So we have to find productive placement for all of these individuals, not just the new young people. Which also means that the kind of skills that we're able to impart to our people need to be those which also adapt to change. We've often heard the adage that the only constant in life is change. The reality is the pace of change itself is changing. And it's changing at a blinding pace right now. There was a time we used to talk of Moore's law in intelligence machines and machine learning, in all kinds of areas around us. With the kind of technology available today, with communication available in the manner it is, the ability to learn something which is being done thousands of miles away is real. It's here. Indian companies, through IT-enabled services, through BPO companies, have already been serving the needs of clients and customers around the globe. So it is clear that knowledge will transfer very, very rapidly, which will become a challenge if industry is not able to adapt to the new changes taking place. And therefore, we need not just to impart the current traditional skills that we're using, but also the ability to adapt to the new ones which will be required in the future. Some of them we can foresee right now. Futurologists have never had a time like this, actually. I was talking to somebody the other day, that when do you think the cell phone was actually conceived? They say you go back and look at the Star Trek movies. When were these movies started? When was it conceived? They were using cell phones, by the way, in that movie. Long before anybody had a comprehension of what this is. They were talking of teleportation, which in some manner and form is currently under study right now. AlMA wrote a book many decades ago on what we can hope to see in our own future, in our lifetimes, and certainly beyond our lifetimes. So we have these dramatic changes taking place right now. People are going to live longer. It's now pretty common knowledge that at least the next generation, not the current one, the next generation will have an average age of 100 years. They will have a different quality of life because of equipment, transportation, and technology that will be available. I hope by then we can clean up the environment, because that would be a real disaster if we cannot. But there is enough technology available. The tools are available for us to clean up the environment. We have to figure out how to make it commercially viable so that you can spread this across the globe. And we must. That is the real answer. The things that we start now should be sustainable from day one. The reason I'm mentioning these, this is not anything to do directly with skills and training or management or entrepreneurship. But at the same time, it has everything to do with it. What we teach today has to be sustainable in every aspect of the world. In how we reach out to ecology, how we reach out to communities around us. Our communication has changed. Our children communicate completely different from the way that we did when we were young. And this will change, it is expected, even further as we go down the road. So if India wants to be amongst the leading nations in the world, this is an aspect we have no choice but to address. So which is why I said I'd like to compliment both of you for setting up this conference. I think it's about time we bring the awareness or wake ourselves up to the need for this on a much, much wider platform than we have been doing right now. Very often, this is a subject, the skills, which is delegated to one department, either in the personnel or some companies in the HR department. More and more companies are now saying, this is the CEO's job, not anybody else's. Which is why, when the MEPSC was being set up, we had some internal debate ourselves, whether we should try and cover such a wide range of areas and subjects. Then we said, if you look at them, they all have a bearing on the other, and they're all a crying need right now. Vocational skills is not new. India has done it for a while. But are we doing it efficiently enough? And are we doing enough for our need? And we heard the numbers from Jayant, so I will not go into the numbers myself. But it's clear that we need to push down the age at which we make vocational skills accessible to young people. There is a new policy now, I'm not sure if it's completed or it's still in the pipeline, and vocational skills will be available to schools in class 7 and 8 onwards to be taught to those who choose to adapt to vocational skills. Not everybody will go to university, but everybody does need the requisite skills for a productive job. Even if they have to become entrepreneurs themselves, which we do need, by the way. I'll just take a minute on entrepreneurship, why that is critical today for India, more than it has ever been. By its very nature, India has been a globally trading nation right through history. It's a well-known fact that we were an important trading nation going back millennia, not just centuries. But we did lose our way about 350 years ago. When the British came in, what happened to India was actually interesting. If somebody does a study on this, they came into a country which was very, very prosperous, was doing 21% world trade as a single nation, and that had a significant part of the global GDP as well. They came in doing 1% world trade. In 1947, they left doing 21% world trade. So it was all economic activity, value addition was sucked out of India into the UK, or Great Britain as it was then called. And we allowed ourselves to go down the same path for too long. But our history is of natural traders, of business people. And people are industrious. Given the opportunities, Indians have done exceedingly well around the world. And today, when we need to create millions and millions of new jobs, where will they come from? The largest number of jobs will come from new enterprises. A large number of jobs will come from the informal sector. A large number of jobs will come from small and mid-sized enterprises as they grow. Which is why it is also important that our policy towards tiny, micro, small and medium enterprises has to change. It must discourage them to remain small. It must encourage growth. Currently the policy is if you remain small, I will give you a support and subsidy. The moment you go up, next step, I'm going to take that away from you. So please don't grow. It's almost like a message you're giving people. So what happens? As companies reach that limit, they will set up a second or a third or a fourth unit. Without getting any advantage of scale, you create a large number of small industries where your actual overheads goes up. Each time you create a new unit, new administration, new security, new management. We need to figure out a way to make this transition both seamless and painless, in fact, to encourage it. And that, I think, is how we create new jobs. One more area which offers great potential but has not received any attention so far is the creative industries in India. The traditional creative industry of the arts and crafts of India. If you go across the nation, all across the country, you have such amazing skills available. The artisans of India had a great component in the overall GDP of this nation even 100 years ago. That has slipped to near nothing. Globally, this is a $103 billion industry. In India, it is a $7 billion industry. There is potential for us to get in there, and most of it, as it happens to be in the rural areas, traditional skills which are passed down generations. We need to teach them how to package better, how to produce better, how the logistics should be handled, and get those products to the best markets in the world. And I believe the spillover effect can impact at least 100 million people in India. And this is what we need. We need new ideas. Of course, we need to do more of what we are doing, but we also need to tap into areas that are not tapped so far. And I believe if we look hard enough, grow areas like healthcare, those which have high requirement of people involvement, rather than only capital-intensive industries. Capital-intensive industries have to grow, of course. That's not enough for us to grow a country like ours. After the automotive industry, Home construction is the largest multiplier in terms of 154 industries are directly connected to it, and many more indirectly. Plus, it has a massive social benefit. All our policies in India so far have militated against it, including providing funding to this industry, formal funding. So I think there is a need for us to look at some of our policy initiatives as we look at creating a much more proficient, a much more efficient, and a much more forward-looking India. The awareness seems to be there. I think we are primed. The government is focused sharply in creating new sector skills councils which can go out and provide these skills. They are reaching out across the country and creating training partners who in turn have their local networks. I think this is a wonderful way to do this. But we have to ensure compliance of quality all the time. That our trainers are properly trained, the equipment we use is right, is contemporary, forward-looking, the environment in which we train people is right, and at the same time, we also impart some values of integrity, ethics, and that's not new. If you think back, what did we learn from our forefathers? Was values are important. And this is sorely required today in India. That as we train people in soft skills, in attitude, etiquette, communication skills, that we also train them about values. In fact, I think it should be compulsory in all kinds of training, education. We've actually tried this both in our schools and in our university. We've made this a compulsory credit for everybody to earn. Without this credit, you will not get a degree. We added a few more around this, including doing physical, social work, etc., for us to get a little bit of empathy. In a nation, on the kind of nation that we live in, with the extreme diversity we have to have a broad, open mind, acceptance of differences, and empathy for those who are not as fortunate as us. And there are millions of them. And I think that, along with technology, equipment, and hardcore curriculum, will create for us the best situation that we can imagine, and will create the India of our dreams. Thank you very much, and good luck.
For your class-looking address. May I now invite our chief guest, Dr. K.P. Krishnan, Secretary, Ministry of Skills Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, to deliver his inaugural address.
Thank you. Respected Chairman Munjal sir, DG of AIMA Rekha ji, my colleague Jayant, Krishna, who had to leave because of an audit committee meeting, Colonel Pokhriyal, Secretary of the Council, and friends, it's a privilege to be here. Let me first join Rekha and all of you in congratulating Professor Dholakia on this very well-deserved award for academic leadership in management education. I'm sure the professor will not recall, among the innumerable people who had the good fortune to professionally interact with him, includes me. The committee that you mentioned at the very end, the committee which went into pricing of gas, headed by Dr. Rangarajan, I happen to have been the member secretary, but I had the privilege of working with this one. More important, I recall at least a dozen of my college mates and a whole bunch of people junior to me, all of whom had the good fortune of being mentored by you, being guided by you in AIMA, and you have truly spoken with awe and a lot of gratefulness. On behalf of that generation, I join and say thank you and again compliment you on the also. The 10-12 minutes that I have, I want to speak about 6 aspects of the topics that we are discussing. These are very briefly the importance of the whole skill development related issues. Briefly touch upon the inadequacies as I see it in the system. based on the inadequacies that I have noticed and the literature that I have read, sort of a brief statement of what ideally should be the role of the state, whether it's the center or the state governments, in the area of skill development and entrepreneurship. The fourth aspect I'd like to touch upon is what at present the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship is attempting. I'd like to spend a few minutes especially on entrepreneurship, because typically it is not something which gets discussed often in the context of skill development. And since we have the opportunity today, we'll probably spend a couple of minutes doing that and conclude with some observations on what I see as the way forward in these areas, especially issues relating to sector skill council, their future, their role, etc. This is briefly what I will try to do. As Chairman Munjal have said, to an audience like this, one doesn't need to drive home the importance of something as fundamental as skill development. Clearly, as Jayant brought out in his context-setting remarks, there are good supply-related reasons why India needs to focus on this topic. There is going to be an enormous number of young people, numbers which are dizzying, who will enter the productive economic system, and to ensure that they are adequately skilled to be able to earn a livelihood and to be able to lead a decent life, skilling will be a very important part of public policy. But there is an equally important side which, even after all the automation, all of the developments that Munjal Sahab mentioned, the numbers that we hear, if you look at the KPMG study, 2014 study updated recently, talks about over 100 million people required in just 24 growth sectors as the number of skilled people. So there is a good enough sort of supply side and demand side reason for us to be focusing on this topic. But what makes it very sort of paradoxical, and I think each one of us has examples of this sort of anecdotal experience. We all know n number of people skilled and looking for employment, and we know an equal number of industrialists, service establishment people who are constantly complaining about their inability to find the right people. So there is this huge paradox of large number of people and a huge, equally sort of existing phenomenon of a large number of potential employers who are complaining about inadequacy of good quality skilled manpower. And I think that's sort of the serious issue that one needs to look at, the inadequacies of the present skilling ecosystem, which sort of the three inadequacies that I want to mention, given the paucity of time, this whole question of relevance. Are we producing in our formal skilling ecosystem people with skills that are relevant to the market, to the industry? To the question that Jayant referred to, the absence of a skilled wage premium, a very well qualified ITI trained carpenter on an average, or an electrician, when you speak to him or her, the first thing that they all complain about is, my pay scale is, or my take home is no superior to, or only marginally superior to another kid who is much less skilled. And the third sort of inadequacy that I see, and which I think in a sense flows out of the second one, if I may spend a minute on that, the absence of this skilled wage premium, something which people like Professor Dholakia would have studied in much greater detail. One clear inadequacy that I see in this space is the inability of the skill educational ecosystem to send the kind of signals that an IIM or an IIT does in higher orders of education. The moment we know there is an IIM graduate, there is an automatic assumption of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H skills, and a skill wage premium automatically follows. Clearly, in the relatively sort of lower order skilling educational system, we have failed in as much as the signal is now completely absent and there is no serious skill wage premium. Which takes me to the third inadequacy, which is the completely broken quality certification system. It's a very fragmented system spread across the center, state, many agencies. The short truth is we do not have a regulatory system which with confidence can assert that XYZ who has come out of ABC ITI with these so-called certified skills indeed actually possesses those skills. So what is in this context the ideal role of the state? To try and fix all of these regulatory and information asymmetric type problems and not actually become a skill provider itself. Tendencies of governments typically is to become a very supply driven. I will set up a skill school, I will set up a skill ITI and keep churning out because that's the easiest thing to do in government. When you can't do anything else, you can throw money at it because that is something which is in the control of government. And historically, I think we've suffered from this. It has largely been a supply sort of led response. We've created enormous amounts of training infrastructure sitting inside government, but clearly the accent post 2014, when for the first time a Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship has been set up in the Government of India. If you've seen the policy which came out in 2015, the clear emphasis in terms of the role of the government is a coordinational role. It is not so much a direct provider role, but much more of a coordinator type role, trying to fix the kind of inadequacies that I mentioned. Inadequate information, inadequate certification, or quality certification which cannot be relied upon. Can the state therefore move into putting in place a skill certification infrastructure, create a skill certification ecosystem where the private sector clearly communicates to the private sector provider what is required, and the market should by and large fulfill this role. There will clearly be areas where perhaps the state needs to become a direct intervener. We, for instance, found in all the left extremist areas, it's very difficult, for good reasons, to find a private sector provider who is willing to go and set up shop. There are serious threats to physical sort of existence there. There are areas where the state may need to become a direct provider, but clearly the accent is going to be on the other role of the state to create an ecosystem where the private sector can actually create all of the skills that other parts of the economy will need. Let me briefly touch upon entrepreneurship and conclude with my own views on where are we likely to be headed. Entrepreneurship, like skill, is again an area which is fragmented in terms of its distribution inside government. There are at least 7 or 8 departments in the Government of India which in some way or the other are currently doing something in entrepreneurship. Every state government is doing something in entrepreneurship. And honestly, if you ask an average successful entrepreneur, what is it that you're seeking from the state? The answer invariably is just get off my back. Allow me to do what I need to do. I don't want to deal with a bulk of the departments of the state that I need to deal with necessarily. So is there a way that you can make interface with the state easier? Now, given this kind of a context, and given this very difficult sort of conflicting perceptions in terms of what the state should be doing, what is the way forward? Let me begin with skills generally. I have spent time on it, I don't want to elaborate on it. The major effort of the government is going to be to put in place a regulatory system which will ensure reliable certification and reliable information. The labor market information system that the bulk of the world, OECD countries possess, put in place systems like that, put in place systems of certifications that can be relied upon. In the area of entrepreneurship, the role that we are carving out, this is not yet cast in stone, it's still evolving, is given the fact that the overall macro environment is pushing India towards greater formalization. All of what we saw post demonetization in terms of digitization, the GST rollout is increasingly going to make difficult for that old style informal entrepreneurship as the key to success. So the role that I envisage for my ministry is a mentorship role where a large number of the informal enterprises can be transitioned to formal enterprise so that they are now a very legitimate part of the economy. There are details which are still under sort of being worked out. And last, I want to spend just a minute on sector skill council related issues. Mr. Munjal referred to the report which has been put out in the public domain, the Sharda Prasad committee, which was constituted by my ministry. It's a very voluminous report. It runs into hundreds of pages, but the gist of the report is essentially 5 sets of recommendations on constitution of sector skill council, the role that the sector skill council should play, its governance structure, its financing, and its role in assessment and certification. Now clearly, and I want to reiterate this in the light of all of the doubts that are being expressed, sector skill councils are going to be the most important element in ensuring industry connect for the skilling ecosystem. The way that the user industry will relate to skill development will be primarily through the Sector Skill Council. That role will not be diluted. If anything, that role will be strengthened, and Sector Skill Councils will perhaps need to play a much larger role in this industry connect. The issue on which we need to now do homework is how exactly does one structure this role and give what is primarily a voluntary association of private persons a certain sovereign role in terms of certification without creating conflicts of interest. So what we do have in mind is have a large number of conversations with bodies like this, with experienced industry leaders like Mr. Munjal, and get a clear set of answers to these 5 issues. There will be a minor fallout in terms of numbers of councils. We are not wedded to any particular number. The general belief is 42 or 43 is too large. We need to have a slightly more manageable number, but number is not going to drive the process. Cogency and sort of meaningful combination of subjects so that we have a reasonably handleable number of councils is what we are planning to do. I expect that in the month of June, we will have a lot more conversations with individual sector skill councils and with industry leaders before we sort of make up our mind and go to the cabinet on this issue. So this is broadly what we have in mind, and I'd be happy to subsequently interact with office bearers of the council and take this whole matter forward. Let me now conclude once again thanking AIMA and the council for this opportunity to share my thoughts with you, and end once again congratulating Professor Dholakia and wish him many more years of very serious quality academic contribution and leadership contribution of the kind that he has always made. Thank you.
Thank you for a very informative and inspiring address. May I request Colonel Anil Pokhriyal, CEO, MEPSC, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Krishnan, Secretary, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Mr. Sunil Munjal, Chairman, Management, Entrepreneurship and Professional Skills Council, and Chairman, Hero Corporate Service, Mr. Jayant Krishna in absentia, Director, MEPSC, and Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer, National Skills Development Corporation, Ms. Rekha Sethi, Director, MEPSC, and Director General, All India Management Association. Our distinguished speakers, experts, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I would like to express our sincere thanks to you, Dr. Krishnan, for an enlightening address. You have indeed given us a very clear big picture on the way ahead of the skill development ecosystem and the various initiatives being planned in the country by your ministry. We are all very inspired and hopeful by your great work. I would like to thank you, Mr. Munjal, for an energizing and thought-provoking address. Your vision and advice always gives us lots of hope and direction for the future, and especially useful. A big thank you to Mr. Krishna in absentia for setting the context in the most art manner for the summit. We are also thankful to you, Madam Rekha Sethi, for your constant support, encouragement and guidance. I take this opportunity to also thank all our Board of Governors members for guiding us and supporting us in our journey till now. We look forward to your continued guidance and support. I would also like to place on record the extraordinary contribution by our National Occupational Standards Committee members for sparing their valuable time in guiding us in the development of the national standards by giving their precious time coupled with the industry perspective. I am indeed grateful to all the heads of the departments and directors of All India Management Association for their explicit support in putting together this summit. I would also like to acknowledge our gratitude to all our partners and sponsors, India Skills Private Limited, Skills Training Assessment Management Partners, Talento Consulting Private Limited, Think Skills Consulting Private Limited for supporting us and making this event possible. I would also like to express our sincere thanks to the friends from the media for encouraging us and being here amidst us today. We have lined up two very interesting and relevant sessions on management and entrepreneurship, wherein distinguished speakers from the respective domains will be sharing their thoughts with you all. Hope you all will have a great event ahead. Thank you.
I request Mr. Munjal to please present a memento to our chief guest, Dr. K.P. Krishna, as a token of our appreciation.